Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar MBA in 2021, the career choices you have. Want to know what career choices you have after completing your MBA? Confused on which path to lead? You have come to the right place. Hi, this is Harmeet Sahdev, your host and host for the evening. We are back with the best MBA information for you. We are sure you must have a lot of questions and doubts regarding MBA. Well, fear not. Our experts are here to clear all your doubts and queries. Today's topic of the webinar is MBA in 2021, the career choices you have. The best three questions, as always, will win Amazon vouchers worth rupees 500. We have added an eligibility checker link on the chat window. Click on the link to know if you're eligible for an MBA at Sunstone. Without any further ado, let's quickly introduce you to today's panelists. Ashish Munjal, co-founder and CEO, Sunstone Eduversity, an out-and-out professional, a passionate strategist, an MBA and a financial analyst who is all about driving results. Ashish Munjal has vast experience of working in varying and diverse industries. The last few years that he has spent in the academics and the industry has given him immersive experience and valuable insights. And being a true analyst at his core, Ashish is all set to help you analyze and strategize the ups and downs of the job market for the coming 2 years.
Hi everyone, thanks Harmeet, thanks for having me today here, and it's always a pleasure to interact with students. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you, Ashish. Moving on, we have Malvika Khajuria, AVP Marketing, Sunstone University. And Alan from MICA. Malvika has 7+ years of experience in marketing, research, product development, and team building. She is passionate about understanding human behavior and unlocking insights for personal and professional growth. She is also the founder of Ikinaki, a social network for all beauty and health products. Hi, Malvika. Welcome to the webinar.
Hi, Harmeet. Thank you for the welcome. Excited to talk to the students today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, we have Mohit Wattal, VP Academics. Mohit is a rare blend of entrepreneurial and corporate journey. He has built his reputation on innovation, digital transformation, focused strategic solutions, strong customer focus, and large-scale team management, and has held various leadership, innovative, and challenging management roles. Hi, Mohit. Welcome to the
Hi,
webinar.
Harmeet. Thanks for the warm welcome. Always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's get set to deep dive on what does the job market look like. Send in your questions and our panelists will answer them for you. The best three questions will win Amazon vouchers. So what are you waiting for? Start typing in the chat section. But without wasting any further time, let's quickly ask on our questions. We'll start with Ashish. Ashish, what is new in MBA in 2021?
So I think actually it's not about what's new in MBA in 2021. It's what's new in 2021. And all of us know that there is a lot of things which are new in 2021. And because these things are new in 2021, obviously they will have their effects on everything, which obviously includes MBA as well. And as all of us are coming out of COVID now, so we need to understand and see what are the permanent changes that have come out of COVID. Will the hiring will be completely online now, or will we will see a permanent work from home kind of a situation in few companies and few roles? So these are the things that we need to understand. Having said that, to answer your question in a short manner, there are a lot of things which are new in MBA in 2021, and that's primarily because of the changes that we are seeing around ourselves. So we are seeing a lot of a hybrid kind of a pedagogy coming now, becoming more and more common, wherein you are having online plus offline classes. We are seeing a majority of our hiring of the students who are completing their MBA is being done online. There are rarely any face-to-face interviews that we are seeing. So essentially, students have to be much more prepared for the online world now. They need to be having like skills which probably used to help them in earlier world where they, let's say, going on field and interacting with their colleagues. Same kind of skills needs to be developed in the online world as well. So yeah, the online word is obviously, it's not a completely offline word, not a completely online word, and as I always say, it's a hybrid sort of a word. and that's how MBA will also evolve going forward.
Right. Ashish, just tell me one thing that जो इस साल बच्चे MBA लेंगे after 2 years, what are the job opportunities which they will be getting, which absolute, something which is evolving with time, but in 2 years the sector is going to bloom. Which sectors are those sectors?
So, if you look at, there are a lot of sectors which will definitely be on the upside 2 years down the line. Sectors which are more and more focused on the internet side of things, those kind of sector, consumer internet, ed tech. So these are the sectors which are definitely towards uptrend. Similarly, sectors like e-commerce, logistics, these are again sectors which are continuing to do well in lockdown, and they're very interesting kind of things which are coming out of lockdown. I personally never thought in a way wherein I was meeting a few gaming companies a couple of weeks ago, and we realized that their traction actually grew 4x during lockdown time. So we need to be very very like alert of what are the things which are happening around us, and you would never expect that because of COVID and lockdown gaming companies would boom, which actually happened. So it's very, right now it will be premature for us to say कि 2 साल बाद किस तरह की jobs uptrend पे होंगी, but I would say is that हमें अपने आसपास ध्यान रखना होगा कि कौन कौन से सेक्टर्स जो है वो ब्लूम कर सकते हैं, कौन कौन से सेक्टर्स जो है वो अप ट्रेंड पे हैं. सो या देयर आर वेरी बहुत सारे सेक्टर्स ऐसे हैं विच आर लाइक कॉमनली कम टू द माइंड विच आई ऑलरेडी स्पोक अबाउट, बट या देयर विल बी a lot of new kind of jobs as well which will come in next two years.
Right, Ashish. Ashish, moving on, Mohit, I want to understand what are all the factors that are considered when it comes to a student getting admission in Sunstone for MBA. What are the factors we want to consider, Mohit?
Right. So, Harbi, to join Sunstone, so basically there is a three-step admission process that we follow. So initially you have to fill up a form. You can go to our website, fill up a form. Uh, but that's about your details and your know-how, how you performed in your education and what is your education background. But then comes the test part, wherein you once you fill up the form, there is a test that you have to go through, which is more to check your logical ability and your aptitude. And post this test, there is a personal interview that happens through internal or external people in Sunstone. So these are the things that you have to, the three steps that you have to take to join Sunstone. So generally we do not do individual scoring, but we've got a scoring methodology wherein your performance from starting from class 10 to 12 to graduation, then eventually your performance in our test, our interviews, all this is clubbed, and there's a mechanism we
Is there
generate a
any
score.
eligibility quota in which, is there any eligibility parameter?
Yeah, so basically there are two eligibility parameters if you look at majorly. The first eligibility parameter is that you have to have scored at least 50% in your graduation, whatever course you may have taken. And the second parameter is that your graduation should be ended by July 2021, talking about this year. So if you have to take admission in 2021-23 batch, your graduation should have ended by max July 2021.
Thank you so much, Mohit. Moving on, Malvika, my next question to you is, how does an MBA help if you want to become an entrepreneur?
Um, so for so the thing is that MBA really helps you understand business very well. When you're a fresher and you've just finished your graduation, you may not understand the business landscape too well. And there are people who understand business inherently, because maybe their parents are from a business background, they've seen some elder brother or sister do a business, or a friend. But your knowledge about how businesses run and how to be a part of it can be very limited, because you've not like studied it properly. What an MBA really does is that, for a student and a fresher, it gives them an opportunity to really understand the different things that happen in a business and really bring it together. So whether you want to do an MBA and quickly start your own business or something, or a startup that you're passionate about, that's a great idea. A lot of people also want to first, do an MBA, get a really good job in a company, understand something, and hone their skills in a good paying job, learn something, and then start a business. But having said that, there is a lot of merit in not wasting time in reinventing the wheel and making mistakes that a lot of people do, and learning from the best. So I think that MBA can really help give you that first kick start into the business world in whichever way that you want.
Right. Thank you so much, Malvika, for sharing that with us. Moving on, now we have questions from our viewers. Our first question is from MK Pathak. MK Pathak says, Ashish, sir, what is the scope of logistic and chain management after completing MBA from Sunstone?
Yeah. So let's say as a student, if your specialization is logistics and supply chain, then definitely you have good job opportunities. And yesterday I was speaking with the existing students, the kind of jobs that they have got. There are jobs in delivery, logistics, Kune Nagel, Shadowfax. So there are a lot of companies which can hire in logistics and supply chain, but we also need to understand what kind of profiles are we getting, what kind of roles are these companies hiring on. So and typically this is not specifically related to logistics or supply chain, but as student we need to understand that if we are talking about one very specific kind of profile, which is, let's say, logistics and supply chain. So actually there are two ways to approach it. One is I can say that, okay, I don't want to do job in one specific domain, which means that I can do job in all the other specific domain. The second way of saying is that I will only want to do job in one specific domain, which means that you are limiting your universe to a very, very small set of jobs. Now within this small set of jobs, because let's say if there are 8 lakh jobs generated in our country every year, out of that logistics would have maybe 5% jobs. So you what you're saying is that कि मुझे वो 95% jobs मिली तो मैं interested ही नहीं हूँ, मैं सिर्फ 5% jobs के लिए interested हूँ. So already you have reduced your chances of getting into a good job by 95% by saying कि वो 95% job तो मुझे करनी ही नहीं थी. Now within that 5%, now you have to be very, very careful. Are you further making any sort of selection in this 5%? अगर आपने 5% बोला कि यार मुझे 6 लाख से ऊपर की जॉब करनी है, तो देन यू आर सेइंग कि 5% में से जो 6 लाख के ऊपर की जॉब है वो 10-15% आती है, तो आपने अपना जो चांस ऑफ गेटिंग इनटू अ जॉब 1% कर लिया. So that's what I want to tell everybody. Do not do that. If you are very particular about one type of job, then you can say कि अच्छा मुझे ये specific type of job नहीं करनी है. I can be open for all other type of job, rather than just saying कि मैं इसी तरह की job करूँगा. At your level, when you are fresher, I would definitely against advise you of being very, very selective in nature. That okay, I want to do these kind of jobs, because आप लोगों ने you have not started your career yet. आपने बस नाम सुने हैं कि logistics, ये supply chain, this and that. You actually haven't worked in these kind of jobs. So I would request is that rather than being very specific that I want to do in this kind of job, you should be specific that okay, I don't want to these kind of job. उसके बाद मैं कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ. That's the way you keep your more and more options open for yourself.
Absolutely. I think that is the main reason, Ashish, we have dual specializations. We have more options. We have more than one internships which are paid, right?
Yeah. In fact, we have 3 specializations. So one is your major, and a couple of them are your applied specialization. So you can do majors, let's say in finance or marketing, and then you can do applied specialization in digital marketing or retail or sales or logistics or banking operations and others like that.
Right. Thank you so much, Ashish, for taking that up for us. Moving on, Mohit, we have a question for you from Rahul Mittal. Rahul says, what is the syllabus for SEET, Sunstone Eduversity Aptitude Test? Yes, Mohit, over to you.
So our aptitude test is basically a mix of, your logical ability. That's what we test, a little bit of your maths capabilities and some reasoning questions. I think that's the major mix.
Right. Thank you so much, Mohit. And I think if you further want to know, guys, you can go to apply now on sunstone.edu.in and you can have a free counseling session. Moving on, Malvika, and next question is from Abhijit Paul. He says, what are the chances of getting a job in MNCs after doing an MBA with a bachelor degree? Yes, Malvika.
So, just after a bachelor degree, there could be some specific roles which would be open with an MNC, but a lot of people actually prefer to do an MBA or a post graduation in order to move on to bigger brands and work with them. We have a lot of MNCs that come to Sunstone also and apply for various different roles. Actually, in a lot of MNCs, they have a wide variety of roles that they hire for. For example, KPMG has come to Sunstone to hire for certain roles. In fact, not just multinationals. I know that a lot of people are interested in getting hired by multinationals. There are many good brands which are Indian brands and big companies which are hiring and which are aspirational, should be aspirational to a lot of young people. And some of these big brands like Paytm, Zomato, etc., do hire. From Sunstone as well. It depends on the role. If you if you are getting an opportunity right after your bachelor's to apply for such a company, be it an MNC or a an Indian company that's doing well, definitely go for the brand and apply to them. However, if many students don't get such opportunities right after graduation because there's so many graduates coming out of the market, so to get an extra edge over students at that stage, post graduation can kind of like move you to a smaller bucket where then your chances to be a part of a bigger brand in a bigger corporate family can be possible for students. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, thank you so much, Malvika. Moving on, Ashish, we have a current student with Sunstone who has a question. His name is Rishabh Tengoria. Rishabh says, can I get the packages like IIMs and other top colleges from Sunstone University as I have taken admission from it and I'm really worried? Yes, Ashish.
Hi Rishabh. So good to know that we are now reaching at that stage that you are now starting to compare us against IIMs and similar kind of colleges. It's a
Yes.
great feeling that in a couple of years we have reached at that stage. But see, again, I would again recommend you. You are just starting your career, and that's the advice that I would give to any student, not somebody who is specifically studying in Sunstone or studying in any other college. Do not at the beginning of your career, don't run behind money. It's probably not the right strategy because you're just starting your career and there are a good career of at least 35 plus years ahead of you. So try and maximize on the kind of work that you want to do for next 35 years. एंड जो पैसे की जो ललक होती है ना हम लोगों की, ये बहुत ही जल्दी खत्म हो जाती है, मतलब and you can verify this from the people who you know very closely and who are in their mid 30s, and that's the time when you start feeling that okay, I should have optimized for the better work, better profile, because पैसा तो हर कोई बना लेता है. And what makes you happy probably at that time, you will not be doing that kind of work, that kind of role. So I would recommend you, I would suggest you, while in your 20s you try to find out what you really like. So I'll give you my own personal example. I started with IT, then I moved to consulting, then I moved to investment banking, and then finally I realized that I am made for startups. I like chaos. I like doing multiple things at time. I like solving hard problems. That's something which I really enjoy. So if I would have just maximized on the package, then I would have probably stuck at consulting or investment banking in my life, and probably now when I am 35 plus, then I would have realized that okay, I'm making money, but I'm not happy with the work that I'm doing. And if you're spending half a day with your work and you're not happy, you can realize that how your life would be. So I would strongly suggest you do not run behind money. Focus on the things that you really like, the kind of work that you really want to do, and money will eventually follow. Money follows. It's as simple as that.
Right, right. Thank you so much, Ashish, for taking that up. Absolutely. Money will follow, and you just need to follow your passion. Moving on, Mohit, the next question is for you. Kuldeep Singhal says, will there be a focus on improving a student's soft skills in Sunstone? Over to you, Mohit.
Yeah, so if you look at the eventual proposition that Sunstone has, so for example, a pay post placement model, right? We get the fees. So for us, it is business only when you get placed. Now, for you to get placed, I keep telling people that about communication, it is not just about command on a language. Communication has multiple aspects. It has got your command on language, your listening ability, your capability to understand a question and strategically answer it, give a structured answer. I think this is something that we work very, very strongly in at Sunstone, because eventually our objective is not just to give you a degree or a PGDBM diploma. The objective here is to make you placement ready and eventually get you placed by the end of your MBA. So out of question, right? So we do a lot of work about this, and you could be
Right.
sure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mohit, for taking that up for us. We have a very interesting question, Malvika, from the artist Alu. The artist Alu says, can graphic designers do MBA? If yes, then which specialization will help me keep my designing skills grow and helped me in my MBA as well? Yes, Malvika.
So yes, definitely. I think that MBA is something that anybody who has an inclination towards business can take up. Anybody who wants to be a part of teams, go after business goals, they want to be a part of companies in the corporate world, can do an MBA. And if you're a graphic designer right now and you have aspirations to take up a job and take your skills and be a part of a bigger company and contribute like that, it's a great idea. I would suggest that maybe something like a marketing role would be a marketing specialization would be something that's very relevant for you. As a designer, I think a key skill that a designer should have is empathy with the person who's watching, to really understand communication very well, because at the end of the day, any design, be it a product, be it a creative, etc., the eventual thing is to solve a purpose for the end consumer. And I think that marketing is a specialization that obsesses over customer, how to communicate with them, make the communication better and better over time. So a lot of things within that could help you kind of like take that, I would say, design thinking, and user or customer orientation can be used up in that, and it'll probably be something that you'll enjoy studying about. Within it, I would say that something, if you get into digital marketing, especially most designers these days are working on graphic design, are using digital media to create their designs. I would say that something like a digital marketing profile may be extremely interesting, because then you can bring that design and use that to run ad campaigns, use that to create collaterals, bring in that element to your team and bring both those I would say talent pieces together.
Right. Thank you so much, Malvika. That was a well defined explanation. I hope our graphic designer was able to understand if he or she should do MBA or not. Moving on, Ashish, Karan, Anija has a very interesting question. Karan says, people who will lose their jobs during pandemic will be experienced. Then, how will the new MBAs compete with them during recovery, applying for the same job? Very
Yeah,
relevant question. Yeah.
it's a very, very relevant question, and the like it's also true that this will happen, or this is happening actually. So, and that's the reason that, in fact, we were speaking about it in our last webinar as well. So now we have started to seeing some kind of recovery in the job market. Now, a job market has started responding back, and the jobs in back in market. But we also need to understand that who or which are the students who will get job first as compared to a fresher. Probably the students who were graduated in 19 or 2020 and then lost their jobs in COVID, they will probably be the first ones to get hired because they already have some experience. So if you look at from any company's perspective, they typically would like to hire experienced candidate vis-a-vis a fresher. And if obviously you're getting at the same salary level, then why not? Having said that, our expectation is that by March or by April, the people who were in job market and lost jobs, probably they would back in their jobs, and by April we would start seeing a lot of action on the fresher job market as well.
Right, Ashish. Ashish, we have come towards the first winner question. Money Teja is the first winner question. Congratulations, Money. You can connect@sunstone.edu.in to claim your Amazon voucher worth rupees 500. The question is, hi, I am an engineering graduate and works as an application engineer in core industry. What networking opportunities are there? I mean, how far Sunstone's alumni network has stretched into the corporate market to help its students? Yes, Ashish.
So congratulations, Mani, first of all. Now, when we talk about the networking opportunities and we talk about alumni network, see, this is something which is something we cannot not afford to do, right? So this is something which is very, very critical for us as well, because when we are establishing Sunstone as a brand which is taking accountability of your education, then ensuring that our alumni are in good jobs, we have a very well connected alumni network. We have basically sort of a lot of industry exposure for our student. That's something which is very critical for us. And now we talk about alumni base. We have already have 250 plus alumni this year. Students also will be graduating in very near future. And as far as the corporate interaction are concerned, we probably will have the one of the largest corporate relations team in the country, if not the largest. Probably it will definitely be one of the largest. And our student to one corporate relation, let's say senior corporate relation for ratio will be probably the best in the country. Because if you look at any college, where the batch size is 250 to 300, they typically have maximum 2 to 3 people to get this batch size placed. We have a team of 10 already for this batch, and this is the team that we are expanding very aggressively. And these are people who come from good colleges and who have been experience of more than a decade of helping students get into jobs. And the reason for this also is very simple, because our interests are aligned with your interests. So we will do anything and everything to ensure that all of you get into good jobs.
Right. So, in short, maybe Ashish, we can sum it up that the corporate relations team works very closely with the training and development team to make sure that students are placed well.
Absolutely.
Right. Moving on, we have another question for Mohit. Mohit, Divakar Sharma says, is there any upfront fees required to enroll with Sunstone? There's a lot of confusion, Mohit, online because of this. If you can just clarify this, what exactly is the procedure for pay after placement? If you can just explain that as to, the viewers.
Sure. So we've got two payment plans basically. One is pay after placement and the other one is money back guarantee. So let's talk about pay after placement. So in the pay after placement structure, as the name suggests, you only have to pay your tuition fees once you are placed. So basically, when you have a job, offer in your hand, that's when you have to pay your tuition fee. And the way we calculate the tuition fee is that we the basic salary, the monthly salary that you get, we multiply it by 10. So basically 10 months of basic salary is your tuition fee. Now, in addition to the tuition fee, there are some charges like registration fees, library fees, infrastructure fees, and a few other fees. So which sums up to around 1,25,000. This so basically you can enroll, book your seat by paying 10,000 rupees, the registration fees. Then you have to pay the balance, which is 1,15,000 rupees in the, I mean, before starting your classes. So you get opportunity to pay that in, one or two installments. And then eventually you start your classes, and then the tuition fee is, sort of happens only when your placement is done.
Right. So you're saying 1,24,500 is the token money, and post that we do not take anything.
It's not the token money, basically. I would say
Okay.
10,000 is the registration fees. And
Okay.
then the other 1,15,000 remains the, infra, library, all these fees.
So uske baad the student does not have to pay anything for 2 years.
Nothing at all for the next 2 years. Nothing.
Oh, okay. Thank you so
In
much.
fact,
Yeah.
I'll just give you a number. In the last batches that we've had, the average, so basically in our pedagogy, there is around 9 months of rigorous on-job training, which are paid
Yeah.
internships. If I
Right.
give you
Right.
the number of the last batch that we've done, the average salary of a paid intern is basically has been 20,000 rupees.
Which is fairly good, and these are
Which,
all
so if you do
freshers.
that for 9 months, if you do a little calculation, you end up, you've earned 1.8 lakh rupees already
Right.
before finishing your MBA. And I think this cost of
Correct.
1 lakh, 15,000 rupees can be recovered, easily recovered during the internships.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mohit, for taking that up for us. Moving on, Malvika, we have a question for you from Ritu Kaur. Ritu says, how to choose our field in which we want to grow, what skills are being demanded by employees. So it's a two-part question. First part is how to choose our field in which we want to grow. Malvika.
So the first most important thing is to figure out where your interest lies, and what kind of a role would best suit you to especially to join your the first stint or the first job that you take. It will sort of like you will learn from it, grow in it, and will help you kind of grow in your career. So it's important to know what is it that you will enjoy doing for a long time, and also what will help you to learn the maximum number of things or have more personal growth. Is how I think of all the options that you have, you can choose from. The other thing is that sometimes, especially after your graduation, people are sometimes confused about what's the right thing for them. And it's rightly so, because there are so many options that they have. At that point, actively seeking counseling can also be a great way to know exactly where where your interest lies. So for example, somebody may think that they want to do marketing, but even at Sunstone we have so many different marketing specializations, right? So and then so many things that, and so many roles, different roles that you can try out or apply to when the companies come to campus. For example, you might want to get into email marketing to start with, digital, or you might be a social media person, etc. So really to figure out where your interest lies and how that will lead to a long term career growth, counseling can be a great way to really understand what is out there and what how to choose it.
Right. And the follow up question, the second question was, what skills are being demanded by employers?
So I think the most important skill that employers look at is how quick you are to learn new things, because the environment is constantly changing. There are lots of new skills coming to the market. For example, just this example, till last year, for example, we had TikTok marketing as the part of the course at Sunstone, and it was something which was growing. Everybody was going after it because TikTok was raging at that time, but then it got banned, and we quickly changed the TikTok marketing course with a Reels marketing course, where people could then understand how to make that transition, how to understand Reels better. There was a little change in it, but it was very important for students to kind of like learn what's new out there, so they're always aligned. So what a good course can really do is help you keep agile and develop. And then once you're into the career, then you have to constantly look for more growth options to keep learning this. That's the number one skill. Apart from that, the other skills that are really important are communication skills. You should be able to communicate well. You should have a very strong understand, a very practical approach. So especially in the first job, what happens is that a lot of people end up, from a lot of colleges, end up just knowing theories or like main concepts, but don't really know how to work with the tool, how to really get that job done, how to be very effective at it. So really those kind of skills, the practitioner skills, are again something that the corporate really values.
Right. Thank you so much, Malvika. Moving on, we have a question from Himanshu Verma. Ashish, Himanshu says, I just want to know, after getting the job in corporate sector, is it necessary to switch the company? And if so, what is the right time to switch? It's a very interesting question.
Yeah, absolutely. So the name of the person who asked question is Himanshu, right?
Yes, Himanshu.
Right, Himanshu. So, Himanshu, first of all, it is not at all necessary to switch a job. In fact, I have peers with me who joined TCS in 2006 with me who are still with TCS. And I know a lot of other people as well in my friend circle and in my professional circle who have not moved out of the first job that they joined maybe 15, 20 years ago, and they're doing well in their career. It's not that they are not at par with their peers in terms of the salary or in terms of the responsibilities or the designation. So it's definitely not at all a requirement to move out of your current job. But yes, if you are looking for something else, let's say if you joined a company in IT but you wanted to make a career in the field of sales, then yes, eventually you would like to move out because that's the work that you're not enjoying. So you should have your reasons very very clearly laid out, that what are the reasons that I am looking out for a change. Am I looking out for more money? Am I looking out for better work? Do I want to change my vertical? Do I want to change the line of work that I am in? So these are the factors, these are the reasons which can be classified as justifiable reason for looking out for a change. So I'm assuming that once you join a job and you are there, then you will understand it yourself that okay, you need to have one valid reason at least for looking out for a change.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ashish, for taking that up for us. Our next question is to Mohit. Mohit, Pramod Chaudhary asks, is it important to give CAT as an exam? और मुझे ये भी आप थोड़ा सा समझाइए कि Sunstone के admissions के लिए how important is CAT?
So not particularly CAT. So CAT, MAT, ZAT, all three are considered during your admissions. While we are not, very, very particular about your scores, but since you've prepared for one of these entrance examination, it gives us a view on your logical and aptitude abilities, right? Your scores are, suggestive of that. But also, as a rule, definitely your appearance in the most recent exam is mandatory.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mohit, for taking that up for us. Moving on, we have a question from Shubham Saurav Jaina Ashish. Shubham says, Sir, how Sunstone Eduversity provides us 100% placement guarantee? How does it do it?
Yeah, Shubham, we do not provide 100% placement guarantee, and I have been communicating this in all my webinars that Sunstone is not providing 100% guarantee that you will be able to get a job. What Sunstone is providing you is pay after placement, because ability to get into a job or not, that's a इसमें उतना आपका भी रोल है जितना हमारा रोल है. लेट्स से कि अगर आपने डिसाइड किया कि आप किसी कंपनी में बैठोगे ही नहीं, आप जाके कंपनी में साइन अप करके आप टेस्ट अच्छे से दोगे ही नहीं, आप इंटरव्यू अच्छे से दोगे ही नहीं, तो हाउ कैन आई गेट यू प्लेस्ड, और हाउ कैन एनीवन ऑन दिस प्लेनेट गेट यू प्लेस्ड, राइट? So the thing is very very simple, that we are not giving you any guarantees, because guarantee we can only give when we are the only party which is involved. यहाँ पे दो party involved हैं, one is us and one is you. So what we are saying is that कि if you are serious enough to get a job, then we will definitely get you a job. So it's both ways, it works both ways. And obviously it's not easy to get into a job, because once you join campus you will have to go through a rigorous curriculum over a period of 15 to 18 months. Then you will have to clear all the examination, you have to attend a lot of classes, case studies, assignments and whatnot. And after that, when the placement season start, if you have already done all of that, then definitely yes, we will help you get into a job, and that's the commitment that we are giving. So equal or maybe more effort also is required from your side, so that you can get into a good job.
Right. Ashish, another user, Ritvik Bhagia, asks, what is the average percentage of placement, if not 100% placement?
So luckily for us, till now the placement has been more than 100%, because we have been able to attract more number of job offers than the number of students that we had. So till now, luckily, fingers crossed, our placement percentage is more than 100%. And this year also, although we are sitting in February and the batch is supposed to graduate in June, more than 50% students have already gotten jobs. And in fact, for these students as well, so around let's say 120, 130 students have already gotten jobs. For them, we have got around 170 job offers already. So already the number of offers to number of student is more than one, and we are expecting that by the end of June we will have 100% of the student placed, and we'll have more than 100% of the job offers. So we are
Right.
hoping that more than 100% job offers, our track record will continue to be, we'll continue to keep it this year as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Ashish, for taking that up for us. Moving on, Malvika, we have a question from Rajinder. Rajinder says, how do I know it is right time to do an MBA? What are the risks of applying early and waiting out for a year? So both ways. If I apply early, what is the risk? And if I wait for a year, what is the risk? Malvika, over to you.
So I don't think there's any risk in applying early. There is so I'm just guessing that at some point, you've really sat down to think of where you want your career to be, whether you are looking forward to joining a corporate job and you want to learn more about business, you have an interest in doing an MBA, and that's something that is your calling. So once you've decided something, I think it's a good idea to kind of go ahead with it, and not wait, because not much will change, and unless you're like, for example, if you're already in a job right now, or if so let's take case by case. If you're already in a job right now and you are feeling that you're stagnated because you want to kind of grow higher up in the career ladder, but you can't because you need an MBA to do so, then once you figured it out, then it's a great idea to apply for an MBA and make that move. Waiting may not help you as much. If you're a student who's just graduated, unless you have a concrete plan of what you want to do, take a gap, but then to do what, then that's something that you need to answer for yourself. If you think that you already are convinced that MBA is the way to go, then I would suggest that you very quickly, in fact, without waiting, start looking at your options. If you've already given your CAT, then some of your options would be clear right now. If you miss the CAT, there are also other exams. So for example, you have MAT coming up, and a couple of other exams that you can take to get a score, and figure out what your options are. But if you've decided, I would suggest that the least risk is in moving fast and to really weigh out your options. Talk to counselors. For example, Sunstone has a counseling program where you can just direct call on our admissions number, and a counselor will get attached, will get connected to you, and you can ask them as many questions you want. You want to understand whether it's the right time. If you decide to, for example, to do it at Sunstone, you can ask them all the questions and get them answered. And there's no better time to take the next step in your life than today. I would really recommend that.
Right. Thank you so much, Malvika, for taking that up for us. Moving on, Ashish, we have a second winner question. Our second winner for the day is Abhijit Paul. How Sunstone manages to get a job to their students as the post-COVID scenario. Many have experienced people were jobless and applying for the same post. How did Sunstone manage to get the students job? Yes, Ashish.
Yeah, hi Abhij. Thanks for this question. One is that, and I'll start with maybe in a chronological order. First is the curriculum that we are teaching to the student is very, very different from what you find in a typical B school, which is more theoretical. So our curriculum is also much more practical. It's much more aligned with the industry. It's actually created in partnership with a lot of companies. So one, obviously, we're teaching things which are much more relevant for the students. Secondly, whenever any opportunity comes, there is a team which we call training and development team, which works very closely with the students on each and every opening. So let's say if Kotak Mahindra Bank is coming, we will be training students very rigorously. Okay, what are the interview questions in Kotak Mahindra Bank? What are the kind of profile that Kotak Mahindra Bank is coming for? So preparing basically students for each and every profile that is coming to the campus. And thirdly, the kind of corporate relations team that we have is, as I already discussed, this is probably one of the largest corporate relations team in the country. And that's, again, these are the factors because of which we feel very confident that it will not be very difficult for us to get jobs for a student, and which is something that we have been able to start showcasing and start proving that as well now.
Right, Ashish. Thank you so much for taking that up for us. And Abhijit, congratulations. You can connect at connect@sunstone.edu.in to claim your 500 rupees Amazon voucher. Moving on, Mohit, we have a question for you. How Sunstone clubs help develop skills and make the students industry ready? Not just that, we would also want the viewers to know about your, clubs and societies and extracurricular, history and background and how important it is. Mohit.
See, it is very important to not just, get out in the market with just a degree in your hand. So this is what I've read. If I were a recruiter, I would see how well a person has overall developed, right? So it is not just about your marks. It is not just about your, the program that you have taken or the specialization that you've gone for. What is important for recruiters is that how well are you overall developed. What is if I were the recruiter and somebody, I'm interviewing, somebody comes up to me and tells me that, I've played nationals, I've played a sport, or I've been into arts at a state or a national level. I think this is as good as experience as any professional could get in an office, right? So definitely these are very, very important. I personally, was involved in theater. I was involved in music. So I think
Right.
all this has added to a lot to my profile, not just my profile but also the way I respond, and also my abilities have grown in a certain way over that period of time, which
Right.
helps me today. So yeah, I think it's pretty important. Now we've got, so what we do is that we've got multiple clubs which where the students connect with each other who've got similar synergies. So for all the applied streams that we have, for all the major streams we have, basically for all the 10 streams we've got clubs, and which are super active.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So, on that note, Ashish, Malvika, I would also want to take your opinion. Apart from MBA, how important are these clubs and societies?
So I'll go first.
Yes.
So in my opinion, this is something which is very, very critical, and it's not just the clubs which is very critical. I think the overall element of doing your MBA or doing your higher education in a campus is something which is the critical part here, where you actually get to learn a lot of things outside classroom as well. बिकॉज क्लासरूम में तो आप उतना ही सीखोगे जो टीचर आपके साथ है जो आपको बता रहा है बट आउटसाइड क्लासरूम इज वेयर द रियल लर्निंग हैपेंस एंड दिस इज समथिंग दैट यूज्ड टू जोक अराउंड व्हेन वी वर डूइंग एमबीए that probably 80% or 75% of your learning happens outside classroom because that's where you learn a lot of things. You learn to drive everything on your own. If you are, let's say, handling a club, if you're organizing an event, you are one who are actually doing everything end to end. You are managing a team, you work with your peers, and then so there are a lot of things which you do outside your classroom as well. So yes, I would say it forms a very major part of your personality, and how your personality shapes up. That's probably a major part of that is contributed by your college life.
Right, right, Ashish. Malvika, yeah.
I think my answer overlaps to quite an extent. I do. It's true that in your college, when you're working, especially in a team setting, it really prepares you for what to expect in the corporate. When you enter your first job, also because you will have to work in teams, you will have to coordinate with a lot of people, and all these skills that you will learn, you can take with you, and then you'll be more successful. There are all kinds of people in most MBA schools. You find people of different backgrounds, and even at Sunstone we have a very diverse batch, right? We have a lot, like we have 30% female candidates joining, and we promote a very inclusive place for everyone to come and study. At the same time, we have students from across the country who study at our various campuses, and this really helps you to really interact with people who are of different kinds. They bring in their great perspectives, different perspectives, and you learn to work together and make decisions together. And then the corporate life also looks very similar. So for that reason also, as much opportunity as you get to be a part of clubs and societies in your college, you should very proactively take it up. And in fact, like you asked this question initially, what is the one skill that corporates look for? I think proactiveness is very important. So
Yes.
if you get a chance to be a part of a society, definitely take it up, and don't think that I'll do it later, or it doesn't matter, for sure.
Absolutely. Malvika, we'll ask you another follow-up question from a user. We just answered how important it is for graphic designers also to shape their future after MBA. The same person, the artist Alu, has given up a follow-up question. Thanks, Malvika, ma'am, but I have not given CAT, MAT, or any other exam. So how do I take it forward?
Okay, so for that, like I think I answered that briefly earlier on, that if you're not given CAT, this is not the end of the world. There are 3 dates for MAT out there. You can pick that date up and give that. It is a qualifier at Sunstone also, but also you don't have to wait to give these tests. Especially, I mean, if you're interested in applying to Sunstone, you can go ahead, do your application. When the time is there, you can give your exam, and we can evaluate at that time. So it definitely, now is not the end of the world. There are still exams coming up, and
Right.
you can reach out to a counselor and talk to them about your specific case, how to go about it if you're looking to take admission in the college.
Right. Thank you so much, Malvika. Uh, Coming back to you, Mohit. Mohit, Prakriti Agarwal says, why should someone spend 2 years doing MBA instead of increasing skills or salary? What is the opportunity cost? Mohit, over to you.
Well, I think skills and salary are two, I think, unrelated terms in my
Absolutely.
view. See,
Yeah.
these 2 years, it is not just about, I mean, you could be out in the middle playing along for these 2 years, may or may not achieve something. This 2 years come with a very, very specific and focused objective. And these objectives are aligned with your career. As Ashish was mentioning earlier, a career is perhaps 35, 40 years long. You cannot sort of, have a career planned out in the next 2 years, right? But what you can do is that your first milestone could be planned well. The base could be set right. That's how, at least our program works. So there's a hybrid pedagogy, as Ashish mentioned. From there, you move on to an internship and on-job training. It is as good as doing a job, right? The on-job training is as good as doing a job. You are there in the real world, solving a real world problem. That's what any professional does, right? So I think
Right.
it sort of sets up the platform for you to take off beyond that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Mohit, what according to you are the key factors that all the students who want to do MBA but they do not know how to go about things, or they have not identified which specialization to go about, and all those thoughts that come to a student's mind, how should they deal with it?
It's a fairly reasonable and a regular problem, and I would not say that this is a problem as well.
Hmm.
I mean, it takes time for us to realize what we are great at. Ashish just mentioned his the way he's reached wherever he's reached, right? Multiple roles. I've
Right.
done that. I started in technology, moved to different roles, and here I am, right? So I think that should not be a problem. What you should plan today is that get into the right program.
Hmm.
As we were mentioning earlier, there are dual specializations and there are applied specializations available. So for example, you take your majors as sales and marketing, and eventually you figure out that I'm not a sales guy. I'm not an outgoing guy, right?
So
So I'm
it's
more of a back-end
practically
person.
okay to change your field.
It is the programs that we have are industry aligned. The curriculums are industry aligned, more hands on. So it is
Hmm.
definitely okay. I mean, should not be a problem.
So there was a time, Mohit, where government services were considered, a big thing. Now I think a good placement has taken that over. What do you think about that, Ashish and Mohit? Starting with Ashish.
Yeah, so I think yes, government jobs used to be a much larger thing maybe 20 years ago, and they are still pretty large. It's not that they are losing their charm, but yeah, I would say 20 साल पहले क्या होता था कि गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स के अलावा स्टूडेंट्स के पास ऑप्शंस बहुत लिमिटेड थे, because our private sector was not as flourishing as it is today. So either you get into a government job or your career is not secure. So हम लोगों के जो parental generation थी उनके जीवन में career security was a big thing, and that's the reason government job was what they were at that point in time. And while we were growing up, and luckily for us, economy opened up, and we started getting a lot of private jobs, private job market started to open up, and that's why our generation started to experiment. And now I don't know what today's generation is doing, but yeah. So yes,
So
government.
today's generation is all about being entrepreneurs and starting their own business, startups.
That's
Yeah.
actually very good, because if they end up generating job, I think life will come a full circle, because depending on government to generate job, then to private large corporates to generate jobs, and then to start generating job themselves. Nothing beats that. So yeah, but definitely being in private job, being in startup, and starting yourself a company is considered a better proposition as compared to a government job, because it's much more rewarding. The kind of work that you do in a startup or in a private job is far better than probably what you do in a government job. We know that government jobs are more bureaucratic, and so the lines are clearly drawn now. If you want a very stable and not a very high paying career, if you have that kind of personality, probably you go for government job. But if you are very ambitious and you want to achieve a lot of things in your life and very very quickly in 10 20 10 15 20 years, then obviously either you join a startup, you join a private company, and then either you start on your own.
Right, right. Mohit, please, your expertise on the
I
same.
sort of agree with Ashish, just that, in my experience, I've seen a lot of my friends who had got their government jobs post our, college, post our degrees, and now they've sort of given up on the jobs, taken a, retirement, and come back to the corporate world. I think it has to do with a bigger shift that we as people have evolved. We're more into digital now, and a lot of dynamics have changed. People love this, dynamic culture now. With government jobs, you've got those roles which are, सेम काम रोज करना है, सेम जगह पे बैठना है, सेम लोगों से रोज मिलना है. I think this is not what people relate to anymore, especially millennials. I don't think they relate to this. That's why I
Right.
think the craze has gone down a little. But as Ashish mentioned, my 2 cents to it, private jobs or startups are exponentially rewarding these days. So I think that security thing, has the risk involved has taken over that security problem जो पहले होता था कि
Right.
यार गवर्नमेंट जॉब होगी तो लाइफ सिक्योर होगी. I think अब
Hmm.
लोग are more open to take that risk because the outcome could be exponentially, huge.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mohit and Ashish, for taking that up for us. Moving on, we have a question from Hitesh Jain Malvika. How does an MBA? I know it's a repeated question, but I think there are a lot of users who joined and left us and they've joined back and they want this to be answered. How does an MBA help if you want to become an entrepreneur? Malvika, over to you. Hitesh.
So yeah, we started like this was the first question that you asked me, but it's an important question. A lot of people want to know how to get in, how to maybe start a business on their own. And my answer to that is that if you're a fresher and you've just graduated out of college, it's a great idea to do an MBA, because MBA really helps you learn skills which make you understand business very well. So whether you do say an MBA in marketing, finance, you do dual specialization, you really get skills and you interact with people and you are able to, hone the knowledge and understand a business very well. And even though some people may feel that they have the flair already and they know exactly what they have to do, sometimes what happens is that you end up making mistakes, or you reinvent the wheel. It's great to have a formal education in a certain space before getting into it, because there's a risk of failure, obviously. So I think MBA is great to do that. The other great thing about an MBA is that you get exposure to great faculty, you get exposure to peers, friends, where you might find someone that you can start, a business with. It's a long battle, and sometimes, to build a team is also very important, because one person can't do everything. So to meet interesting people who are also as passionate about business as you are, to meet faculty who can really coach you, to have alumni of a college is so important, because tomorrow if you want to partner with someone, you want guidance as to how to do certain things, you can reach out to your alumni. So that is a resource. So if you're for example, if your parents are not from a business background, you're from a service background, you don't know where to start, you don't know how businesses are run, imagine an entire ecosystem that is out there to teach you. And then you might do a marketing specialization, but also keep taking notes from, say, from someone, a friend who's from the finance department, and learning on the side. There's an opportunity to learn, and everybody there is from the same mentality. So I think that for a fresher to start off, it could be a great place. In fact, you should do an MBA, start up with a job, really understand how things happen, get a doer's knowledge on how things happen, and then use it for your own business when you think the time is right.
Right. Thank you so much, Malvika. Moving on, we have a question for Mohit. Mohit, Rahul Jaiswal says, could you give an outline regarding college atmosphere like student demographics?
So For our colleges, Rahul, we've got around 8 campuses. If you and as Malvika mentioned earlier, it's a decent mix. We've got students coming around from across the country. I think everybody has different priorities. You'll find people who want a college close by to their house, and then there's a set of people who really want to go far away from where they are. Right. So I think it all depends on what are your priorities and the kind of colleges that you want to choose from the campuses that we have. But I think a very important part that needs to be answered here is that whether it is GD Goenka in Gurgaon, or it is NIU, or it is Sage in Indore, all our campuses, the students go through a similar experience. We ensure that ऐसा नहीं है कि GD Goenka वाला बच्चा जल्दी प्लेस हो जाएगा और इंदौर वाला या बैंगलोर वाला बच्चा लेट प्लेस होगा या उसको कम अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलेंगे. I think we put all our students in the same bucket and everybody is treated the same way. So I think you can actually choose your campus basis how you want to choose it. The experience with Sunstone is going to be sort of similar.
Right. Thank you so much, Mohit, for taking that up for us. Moving on, Ashish, we have a next question from Rahul Kumar Sharma. Rahul says, Sir, what is the average placement of student? 20-25 हजार का job MBA करने के बाद मिलेगा तो क्या फायदा? Yes, Ashish.
So, Rahul, right now 2019-21 batch students placement is going on. Till now, the average placement has been close to around 4.4 odd lakh rupees, and the median is close to 4.1 or 4.15. And as far as your question is concerned, the second part of your question is concerned कि 20 से 25 हजार रुपए का job MBA के बाद मिलेगा तो उसका क्या फायदा है? I personally believe that this is not the right way and not the right approach to look at your education and the kind of work that you do. And that I'm saying this because all of us, when we graduated and when we completed our engineering or MBA, we also started in a very, very humble kind of jobs. I personally got a job of 14,000 rupees in TCS, right? And my take home was, I think, around 12,000 or something. So if I would have thought like you, I wouldn't probably started my career at all. So that's, I would just request you, and ultimately it's your life, you would have to make decision for yourself. This probably is not the right way to approach your career. The right way to approach your career is to start working with a good organization, start working with a role that you really enjoy, in which you want to make your career in. It doesn't matter what kind of salary range you start your career at. And even if I talk about a few of my peers, they would have started at 10,000 as well, 12,000 as well. And all of them right now are making so much money that there's no dearth of money in their life now. So initial few years, maybe initial 2 to 4 years in terms of money, is probably the last thing that I would want you to evaluate your career on, because you are not here for 2 years, 4 years, 5 years. You are here for 35 to 40 years. So start thinking long term, that you what you really want to do, and probably spend your 20s to figure out what you want to do for next 30 years. And then eventually, if you really like the work that you're doing, you will automatically start making progress. And as I said, money definitely will follow. There is no reason that if you're doing a great job in a company, you are really making yourself valuable for the company, then company will not pay you. It's something which that's not how corporate world works. So if you are valuable, if you are worth something, you will get what you're worth, basically.
Right, right. Ashish, we'll stop you for two back-to-back more questions. Bhavani Rajput says, what is the average and median salary Sunstone students get?
Yeah, so I just answered that. For the 1921 batch, right now the average is close to 4.4 and median is close to 4.15. And we'll get to know the final figures by end of June for 2019-21 batch, by the time when the whole batch would have got placed. So that's the numbers as of now.
Right. And the second question is from Ritwik Bhagya. Ritwik says, will the industry or recruiter recognize the Sunstone graduate in the same way as they do to Micah graduate? Will the Sunstone compete to these colleges in terms of knowledge?
Yeah. So definitely, I'm sorry, what's the name of the person who asked question?
The name of the person is Ritwik.
Ritvik.
Ritu.
So, Ritvik, this is something which is not entirely college's responsibility. This is something which is a mutual responsibility of student and college both. IIMs are what IIMs today, not because what IIMs were, but because what IIM students made IIMs what they are today. So IIM student probably would have a equal, if not more, role in making sure that IIM reach what where they currently are. IIM could have only provided good quality of education and great corporate connects for the student, but essentially to learn to do well in their careers is something that students have done over the years. So I'm sure when Sunstone is 10, 15 years into this field, definitely we will be compared against the best of the lots. So that's also something which is our eventual goal is. And I'm sure if both student and us work together, we'll definitely achieve that goal.
Right. We have come towards our third winner question, Sonu Vishnu. Mohit Sonu is our third winner. And you can connect at the rate sunstone.edu.in to claim your Amazon voucher worth rupees 500. Mohit Sonu asks, which exam I have to write for entering to MBA in Sunstone? What is the process to join in Sunstone?
Congratulations, Sonu, first of all. So the exams that you have to write is that first of all, you fill up a form at Sunstone. So you can go to our website, fill up a form. There's a form available. Sign up on the website. You could also drop us a line through the website on the website, and somebody can, from the counseling department can get in touch with you and help you through the form. But as a process, you have to fill up the form. Post the form, there is a test that you have to take, and post the test, there's an interview, which is a personal interview that is taken. So that's how the process is. So if you really want to know more about this in detail, I think what I'd suggest is that there's a toll-free number that Sunstone has. You can give a call on that number and somebody can get in touch with you.
Right, right. Mohit, one more question from Yashita Mehra. Yashita says, what is the maximum fee payable after placement and how does the money back guarantee work?
All right. So I'll answer the first part first. The maximum fee payable in pay post placement is 6 lakhs. The fee, which includes your registration and the non-tuition fee amount. So the max that you're going to pay is 6 lakhs. So I'll give an example. So for example, we find you a job wherein your salary is 50,000 rupees a month. So what is the tuition fee? 50,000 into 10, which is 5 lakh rupees. Plus you've paid us 1 lakh 25,000 already. But your fees would be 6 lakhs only. So what we are going to do is that we are going to take only the balance of 6 lakhs. You've already paid 1.25. So that's how the max tuition fee is calculated. About the money back plan. So money back is a very, very simple plan. You join us, join the program, pay a one-time fee of 3,15,000 rupees and start studying, do your program, get placed, and there's nothing else that you have to pay. Just in case we are not able to find you a job or maybe probably not able to place you in the next 3 months, so after finishing your MBA, we are going to return the money to you. So what that eventually means is that your MBA is on us.
Right, right. Thank you so much, Mohit, for taking that up for us. Absolutely, which means we take student accountability, we take accountability for their career. We've come towards the last two questions. Malvika Ayush Sharma asks, do I need MBA for success in corporate world?
So, I think that if you're determined to, continuously grow, learn every day, and you do, if you are determined to do that, you will be successful for sure in whatever line of work. But an MBA, if you've done an MBA, what will happen is that your career will get a good boost because a lot of these skills that we were talking about are actually included in the MBA curriculum as well. So, for example, proactiveness, learning how to work in a team, knowing how important it is to be agile, knowing how much continuous growth can impact your results, etc. Those kind of things you will learn through different different activities that happen. So the assignments that you get, the internships that you get, the corporate exposure that you get, the interaction with other students, the interaction with alumni, the corporate connects, etc. So basically you learn a lot of those things that will make you successful in MBA, because it's a course planned to make you industry ready. So yeah, if you are looking for that, then MBA could be a good option for you.
Right. Thank you so much, Malvika, for taking that up for us. We have come towards the end of this webinar with the last question from Deepak Khanna. Ashish, Deepak says, how many campuses throughout India do you have and do you plan on expanding?
Yeah, thanks, Deepak. Good question. So we currently have 8 campuses across 6 cities in the country, and most probably we'll be adding few more campuses this year. We are targeting to add 6 to 7 more campuses this year, and we'll be opening at least 4 to 5 more cities as well this year.
Right. Thank you. But before Ashish, Mohit, and Malvika leave, please give us your one token of message to all the MBA aspirants out there, not just MBA aspirants, anybody who's watching this webinar wants to grow his or her career. What is that one message? Starting from you, Ashish.
Yeah, thank you. So one thing that I would like students basically to start thinking more about is what kind of role and what kind of jobs that they want to get in, rather than just completely thinking about the kind of money that they will be getting once they complete their MBA. And I don't blame students as well, because when you see a student paying 8 lakh rupees, 10 lakh rupees for an MBA, and when he gets a job of 25,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees after that an MBA, obviously it doesn't like a good investment. So, as a student, start thinking and start evaluating your ROI, which is return on investment, that from a college perspective, how much money you are spending on the college and what is the average salary of the college. Anything, let's say if you're spending 10 lakh rupees on a college and your average salary is 2.5 or 3 lakh rupees, then your ROI is zero point 0.3. So any ROI which is less than zero point 0.8 is a red mark. It's not something that you should go for. Even if you look at IIMs, their ROI stands for zero point 0.8, zero point 0.7, somewhere it's 1. So any ROI which is above 0.7, zero point 0.8, it's a good investment in an MBA. So that's something that students should start evaluating while you are now going for MBA, because it won't make any sense for you to invest 10 lakh, 12 lakh rupees, 15 lakh rupees. And I see a lot of students now, because I'm interacting with a lot of students and the admission season has just begun. So I see a lot of students, I see a lot of parents who are thinking of investing 15 lakh rupees in an MBA. And then when I ask them what is the return on their investment, at that point in time, they just say that, okay, the average salary I saw is at 5 lakh rupees or 4 lakh rupees. It doesn't make any sense to do that kind of investment for such a meager return. So be very, very cautious, ask difficult questions from your college, and then decide which college you want to join.
Thank you so much, Ashish, for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Malvika, your token of message to the students.
So my message would be that it's important, because you're going to spend 2 years in a college and you're going to learn most out of it. So plan it well. If you have questions about, definitely get into asking questions about the curriculum. What will I learn? How will I learn? What will it look like? You should get these answers from someone. So I would, and if you're someone who is, and I think majority students, because I remember that even when I was thinking of doing an MBA, I was also confused which course, what to do, etc. Talk to someone who you think would be able to answer your questions. Talk to a counselor. Figure out, what the curriculum is, what specializations are there. Really get into the depth of what will work for you, what is interesting for you. Get that help, have a conversation, and then come to a conclusion.
Right. Thank you, Malvika, for joining us today. And thank you for the token of message.
Thank
Moving
you.
on, yes, thank you. Mohit, over to you.
So my message would be choose your program wisely. I think what is more acceptable today is hands-on experience and the kind of time that you've spent solving a problem rather than reading out a solution. So I think choose a program basis the kind of rigorous internships and the curriculum, how dynamic is the curriculum, and how, industry relevant and specific is the curriculum. Longer term, I think people should, as Ashish mentioned, I totally support that. Choose a role, don't choose, a salary is something that is going to follow. We've had similar experiences. We've chosen roles for us and it has worked out, and it does all the time.
Right. Thank you so much, Mohit, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Harmeet.
Thank you. Thank you, Mohit. Thank you, Ashish. And thank you, Malvika. We have come towards the end of this session today. Our winners for today are Mani Teja, Abhijit Paul, and Sonu Vishnu. You can connect to our team at connect@sunstone.edu.in to claim your Amazon voucher worth rupees 500. I'm sure you have a lot of insights about how the job market looks like and how does the near future look like. So it's time for you to evaluate and analyze all that we have discussed this evening. And I'm sure this will get you to make the right decisions for your bright future and your dream job. This session will be saved here on our channel for you to watch again and for others who missed joining us live. So please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that yet. You can connect to our team, as I said. Also, don't forget to follow Sunstone Eduversity's social media handles for updates on webinars, amazing videos, and content that can help you build skills and grow in your career. Thanks for joining us again. We will see you soon with yet another interesting webinar. And please follow our Instagram handle to keep yourself updated on whatever is going on. This is me, Harmeet, signing off. Thank you so much.